A big and warm hello to the drone show in Japan 2021. My name is Romeo Durscher. I'm the Vice President of Public Safety at Auterion, and I'm very thankful to be here with you, unfortunately only virtual, but I am still as excited to share some information about the state of end-to-end UAV data integration and how workflows are really changing, especially on the enterprise side and the commercial applications of drone technology. I hope this presentation finds you all healthy and well, and after several months of a really difficult time during this pandemic, it is exciting to be here and share some information. I am looking forward to also answering some pre-asked questions, and hopefully after the end of this presentation you have an opportunity to also ask additional questions by email or through social media. But let's get started. The state of end-to-end UAV data integration and how workflows are changing is really a topic of other importance today. Again, my name is Romeo Durscher. I oversee the integration of Auterion solution into public safety. But having been in the drone industry for a decade, I have seen and experienced very many different use case verticals, not only in public safety, but also other areas, such as inspection, oil utilities, farming, as well as surveying. Please feel free to connect with me on my various social media outlets, from LinkedIn to Twitter to Instagram. But also feel free to, after this presentation, send me your questions via email. You will get the email address during the presentation or at the end of the presentation on the last slide. I'm looking forward to interacting with all of you. Auterion really is the largest open source drone software company and supplier of an enterprise operating system for unmanned vehicles, and it's based on the PX4 autopilot software. We have multiple locations across the globe, from our R&D headquarters in Zurich, Switzerland, where I am recording right now from, to our offices in the United States, in Silicon Valley, as well as in Los Angeles, to our latest office in Germany. We have a vastly growing team of really highly qualified employees and team members, and Auterion really is the #1 contributor to the PX4 community of open source platform solutions. This is very exciting. Now, if we want to explain what Auterion is, the best way for me to explain this is that we are in essence the Android of the drone industry. What does that mean? Well, just like on Android, where we have the operating system and then we can use that operating system on multiple different devices from different manufacturers, the same is true also in the drone industry. Our goal is to not only create a standardized user interface, but to have it integrated on multiple drones from multiple and different manufacturers, and with payloads that can be easily integrated, offering a vast amount of choices to end users. Today, the enterprise challenges of using drones are pretty significant. Over the last few years, we have learned a lot of information. We've learned how to properly use this new technology and all the benefits it is already bringing in public safety as well as other verticals. But reality is there are still some challenges we want to tackle, and we are tackling them here at Auterion. For example, there's still lots of data that comes through a drone or any unmanned system. The data workflow today is still very manual, meaning most of the times we have to offload data off the drone, off an SD card, moving it from there to a computer, a laptop, and then potentially upload it from there into your workflow. There's a lot of manual tasks involved. Also, we need actionable data, meaning we want to see the important pieces of that image or that video that we just took so that we don't have to see everything else that's on there. There is usually about 80% of data in a single image that has very little meaning to us. And we want to focus and get that 20% that is so important for us to make the next decision. Furthermore, the lack of standards. That's not only from an industry perspective. We have different battery solutions, we have different battery connectors, we have different formats, we have different apps, but also to an operational perspective on how we operate and how we deploy drones. There is a general lack of standards, and that is also where we put a lot of focus in. And what we have learned in the past is there is no one drone or one drone company that can do it all alone. We need multiple sized aircrafts with different payloads to get the various tasks done. And that adds to the challenges and complexity of deploying drones in the enterprise space. And here is where Auterion really comes into shine, because we are based on our open source standards. And think about it as one interface for many different choices. No matter if you're flying a small multicopter or a larger system with potentially 8 rotors, or a fixed-wing drone where you transition from vertical takeoff and landing to a in-flight winged airplane, or if you want to just stay on the ground, a rover. All different types of solutions with one interface. Autonomy and AI is a topic that is helping us in so many areas. And think of our solutions also having the ability to utilize on-edge computing on the aircraft. So we can do a lot of tasks already on the aircraft. And Auterion stands for autonomous navigations and communications and enabling that ecosystem of drone connectivity while in the air. That is extremely exciting because it offers new workflows, new solutions, and making, again, this entire drone deployment more integrated and effective and efficient. Speaking of integration, industry-leading sensors and payload integrations is part of the strategic deployment of drones, because we make it so that payload manufacturers can easily adjust to the Auterion standard, to the open standard, and create solutions that can be integrated into various different aircrafts, bringing the choices back to the end user. Now, if we look a little bit into the history of how have we gotten here in regards to drone deployment in public safety, which is the area I have spent the last 7 years in, really trying not only to understand, but to move ahead into the future. In the very beginning, when drones were starting to become a tool for public safety, we usually had a drone operator flying the drone over an incident, in this case, a house or structure fire. And now the drone operator was seeing in live video feed what was happening, what the view was from that aerial perspective. At the time, the incident commander was standing right next to the drone operator and looking at the same footage. That obviously was a huge enhancement already, but it was also a challenge because now you had 2 people that were distracted, that were looking at this live video feed on a small video screen. That was not optimal. So then, what did we do? We created solutions to have an HDMI out port on the radio controller, so we could get it onto a bigger screen and move that screen a little bit away from the drone operator. So now we were able to create a sterile cockpit environment, meaning the drone operator was separated from other people and thus was more effectively and more safely operating the drone, while incident command was able to see the footage on a larger screen away from the drone operator. That was already a huge enhancement. And then we got into live streaming, the ability to send drone footage via your smart controller or via the tablet that was associated and was also your screening device via LTE 4G to anywhere in the world. That was exciting because now, with just a few second delay, an incident commander that was far away from the actual incident could also monitor what was going on and could provide feedback from afar. And then here in the United States, the drone as a first responder was born. And that deployment methodology is so very different than what we were used to before. Because before, we were bringing the drone to the actual incident location and deploying it in front of that burning building. Drone as a first responder operates on a very different concept. The drone takes off from the roof of the fire station or the police station, and it flies straight to the location of the emergency. That means oftentimes the drone arrives before any ground units get on scene, already providing very valuable aerial perspectives of the incident. That lets incident commanders and call centers adjust the response, potentially send out more units or divert units because it may not be such a big incident as originally thought. Tremendous benefits in efficiency, in safety, in crew and team management. But the challenge here still is that we are operating off a roof, people are on that roof, an HDMI cable potentially goes into the station, again onto monitors, and so the setup is still not as efficient, not as good as it could be. And here is where we are today. There is more and there is better. And that is the connected drone that in flight has the ability to live stream already what it is seeing and experiencing. And that can go straight not only back to the incident command, but also to the units that now are en route to the scene, and allows them to see what is awaiting them in a few minutes, preparing them not only mentally but also physically on the task ahead. And in the background, we can integrate that data much easier into the call center or into workflows that are already existing. And that is our mission at Auterion. We are changing the way workflows are working today and in the future, because that is the only way to properly scale up not only drone deployment, but the amount of data that comes in that helps us make better, faster, and more accurate decisions. Now let's take a look at what this new real-time workflow looks. And on my first example, I'm going to use a wildfire mapping scenario. So in essence, we have two areas. We have the area above the black line, which is the department, the headquarters, and we have the area below the black line, which is on-site, so where we are deploying the drone from. So potentially in this case, we have a wildfire. We're doing the mission planning at the incident command center, and we're planning everything in our Auterion software suite so that by the time we get on site, everything is already planned, easily gets transferred over to the radio controller. So the flight plan sharing capabilities are in place. And now we are deploying our fleet of drones. And it could be a multi-rotor drone, or it could be a VTOL, that vertical takeoff and landing drone that transforms into a fixed wing drone. And now these platforms are sending data to us, not only on the ground, but into the workflow through the connectivity device of 4G, 5G, LTE, or potentially even a mesh networking system on the ground. And now these data pieces, these images, go straight into our software. And we can also look at the health information of the aircrafts in real time and potentially see issues that could arise If, for example, one of the motors is warmer than the others, we can see that in real time and adjust our flight parameters or our flight strategy. We can bring back our aircrafts, mitigate risks, or even receive predictive maintenance items just because we have that connectivity and live real-time health data of the various drones in operation. But here comes the very exciting piece. Instead of moving the data off an SD card or internal memory of the drone, it is being integrated in an existing workflow. In this case, our third-party integration into Esri. And Esri gets all these images and then creates actionable data that then can go back right into the field or to incident management. In this entire workflow, at no point have we used as SD card or any external or internal data devices to transfer data. Everything happened in the background. And that is the beauty of Auterion and our software solutions. Now we can look at this also in other verticals. And here is a perfect example of an inspection project. With Auterion, your inspection begins really at the office. You prepare missions from the comfort of your desk, and when the field engineers arrive at the location, they can simply log into the ground control station and get started. We support and enable the control of an ecosystem of payloads, like the Sony Alpha 7R Mark IV. With Auterion Keynote on board, the drone operator and the back office team are all connected online. Information about the operation is transmitted to the cloud in real time, providing a complete overview of the operation as well as downloadable compliance reports. Data, real-time video, and thermal imagery can be integrated directly into your existing applications and workflows. Before the drone takes off, the connection to the cloud has been already established and data is being streamed to your experts. This enables your subject matter experts to review footage simultaneously without having to wait for field engineers to return. Once the drone has landed, the inspection job is already complete, making your drone operations quicker, more efficient, and scalable. Auterion enables complete end-to-end workflow integration for enterprise drone operations. So, in essence, our ecosystem offers choices and flexibility from multiple drone manufacturers that really put focus into building the best drone they can with our Auterion flight controller and software stack inside, to payloads from various payload manufacturers, to our own Auterion suite and ground software solutions. And all of that combined enables also third-party solution providers such as Esri or Unblur or future solutions to be easily integrated. And now we can really pick and choose what solutions and which solutions work best for the task at hand. Our Auterion software allows a standardized approach to operate a drone fleet with aircrafts from different manufacturers in different sizes, configurations, and with a choice of payloads. This standardized user interface and approach allows for the most efficient learning, training, and deployment of drones. The planning of a mission and the drone control can be done on our Auterion SkyNav ground controller, or a laptop or a tablet. Our Auterion suite is truly the centerpiece of your drone operation. For drone program managers and operators, it provides you with very detailed information about your entire drone fleet, each drone flight, and every drone and its health. The ability to see real-time flight and health data ensures a safe drone deployment and risk mitigation aspect. Furthermore, because so many subsystems within the drone are being monitored, should an anomaly occur, the system alerts the operator and also provides predictive maintenance tasks. The Auterion suite is your hub for remote aircraft firmware updates, allows you to manage your SIM data plans, and assists you with compliance review and reporting. Again, one of the key benefits of Auterion is to really bring a standardized approach, choices, and flexibility to the end users so that they can not only build a fleet but also replace a current fleet with solutions that match the needs that they have, but yet are still under one user interface. So it doesn't take as much training, doesn't take as much time to deploy, and creates a standardized and easy data workflow in the background. At this time, I would like to answer some of the questions that were asked. The first question is, what are some of the current limitations slowing down greater adoption of drones as a first responder, and how do you see this changing? This is a very good question. To summarize, the drone as a first responder is the concept that we deploy a drone from potentially the roof of a fire station, a police department, or any other headquarters or area where the drone can go onto a mission. Obviously, the big benefit here is a time saving. We don't have to move the drone from point A to point B first. It can already do that on its own, giving very helpful data points already in flight back to the headquarters or the location. But currently there are some challenges in this deployment methodology. There are regulatory challenges that are being overcome as we speak, as an industry grows. Also the understanding, the technology and the integration grow, and regulations are starting to adapt. We're starting to see beyond visual line of flight opportunities that can even enhance those deployment methodologies. But also a thinking and changing of thinking in the market needs to happen, because for so many years we have grabbed this drone in a case, in a backpack, and moved to a different location and flown it there. Now we can do it differently, and that needs to be also trained, experienced, and people need to see that benefit in real time. I think we are overcoming the challenges in no time, and this deployment methodology will truly gain ground and get off the ground in many other locations, not just in those test locations in the United States. We are in a very exciting time indeed. The second question is, how is the end-to-end data workflow disrupted when operating in remote areas with poor or no connectivity? And how do you see this being mitigated? This is a fantastic question, and reality is, yes, we will be operating in some of the most challenging environments, not only in public safety, but other verticals. It could be after an earthquake, it could be after a wildfire, after a hurricane impact, where our infrastructure is down and we may not have connectivity. Those are real-life scenarios that we need to take into consideration. And we are. The way we are mitigating this, there are two different types of poor or no connectivity. There is the one connectivity aspect between the ground controller and the drone, and that we have pretty much as an industry figured out. If for right now the drone loses connectivity, we have multiple solutions that we can let the drone know what to do. The most common one is return to home, where the drone immediately turns and flies back to the location it took off. That is for safety measurements. In the future, when we have beyond visual line of flight approval, and when it's integrated, the drones are integrated into an airspace system, we have more choices where we can say, let's continue the mission, because the drone knows on board what it needs to do and can continue to collect data, and at the end of the mission, then fly back to where it took off. Then there's the second part of poor connectivity or even loss of connectivity, and that is that data sharing connectivity piece. 4G, 5G, LTE, Wi-Fi, whatever protocol we're using, we may lose the connectivity. What happens then? The way it works is that the drone will continue its mission because we still have control over the drone via the ground controller. And data will continuously being taken. So if we're doing a mapping mission, the drone will continue to take images, store them on board, either on the SD card or the internal storage or inside the Auterion Keynote. And then when it gets back to connectivity, back to wireless, back to 4G, 5G, LTE, it will offload that data that has been buffered and send it into your workflow. So a very good question, because this is reality. The third question really is a question that has many great benefits. Where will first responders experience the greatest value as they achieve real-time workflows? Right now, we have proven that just seeing the live video feed on the ground controller side can have tremendously helpful impacts. Across the world, we have saved hundreds of people's lives just because we had a drone and a live view available. We have mitigated the risk of injury and potential death to thousands of emergency personnel and first responders because of that. Streaming the live video feed with a few second delay has further enhanced the capabilities. And now, with Auterion's open source and open standards and data integration workflows, we are making an even bigger impact. Because in times of life and death, even seconds means a lot to first responders. Providing ability to better, more efficiently deploy drones with more capabilities, with longer flight times, and with better data really improves not only situational awareness, but also the ability to make better decisions based off of real-time actionable data. It is exciting, it is a great venture, and I am extremely looking forward to what the future holds. I hope my presentation has given you a little bit of an insight into Auterion. What are we doing today and what our vision is for the future? Please reach out if you have additional questions, and I'm gladly trying to respond and give you more insight. I'm hoping to, in the future, travel to Japan and meet with all of you and not only showcase the technology, but validate its capabilities, because it will improve not only public safety, but all of enterprise across the globe. I wish you all the best, stay healthy, and thank you very much for having me.